everyone, it's Jack and Adam from Cultaholic.com, and it's Thursday, and it's just chock full of news, Adam.
Some big news today.
New various bits, sad news, intriguing news.
And completely speculatory news as well.
Spooky news. Oh, let's take a look at the headline. First and foremost, a wrestling legend has sadly announced their retirement date. In other news, Jim Ross is set to part ways with WWE at the end of March, but what is next for the legendary commentator? And finally, Shawn Michaels has revealed a surprising detail about his match at WrestleMania 26 with The Undertaker. So first of all, wrestling legend Jushin Thunder Liger has announced the date of his retirement.
Is that who it is?
You can
See, I saw the thumbnail and I was wondering, I thought, oh bloody hell, is that The Undertaker? Is it finally coming round? But those horns.
I thought Randall Keith's head's looking a bit strange. Jushin Thunder Liger, the Japanese wrestling legend, one of the most legendary masked wrestlers ever and junior wrestlers ever and all that sort of stuff.
Most famous, of course, for his match in NXT. With Tyler Breeze.
That is still one of the most bizarre little
wrinkles. It is
wrinkles.
Tyler Breeze as well, of all people. Don't get me wrong, Tyler's great, obviously, but fashion pleasing. Yep.
It was a good match. But he's announced his retirement, which I'm sure will send shockwaves across the wrestling world because he is such an inspiration to so many wrestlers of that style. He's not just announced his retirement though, he's announced the date of it. And it's not for a while, we've got a little bit of time. Because we told Sam outside before and he was devastated.
He didn't know.
He didn't.
Yeah, what's the news today? So, you got Jushin Thunder Liger's retirement. What?
Yeah. He's going to retire at next year's Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome. But before then, he still wants to wrestle. I think he said in the press conference he'd like to wrestle around the world a bit more. So he's not going to be on all the New Japan tours. For example, he's not going to be on the upcoming New Japan Cup tour because he's actually going over to Ireland for Scrapomania.
Gotcha, right.
So he seems to be doing a little bit of maybe like bucket listy sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, his schedule hasn't lightened up in the slightest. He's still having like 3.5-star matches pretty much every day around the world.
So cool. He was at Wrestling Media Con.
He was at Wrestling Media Con.
He was dancing to Wrestle Talk, doing the segues and stuff. What a hero of a man.
What a career. Yeah. And who do you see his last match being?
Oh, it's a very good question. Tiger Mask.
That's nice.
Just because, you know. Yeah. Do you think it would be a torch passing one to someone like maybe, well, he's just wrestled Ishimori. Ospreay's moving up to heavyweight. I can't think of who would be the next up-and-comer in the junior ranks, but maybe someone in that division, Kushida's already gone as well. So I don't know. It's a very strange one.
Yeah, it's sad news, but also he's 54 years old. He's done everything that there is to do.
Yeah, there's nothing else. He's got nothing to prove.
Absolutely.
I think I also saw they asked him in the press conference if he was going to, now he's retiring, if he's going to actually move out of the dojo. I like the fact that he's just like a layabout, just squatting in the dojo. And he said he's not sure because he likes it there. Yeah, fantastic. Although maybe that means that he'll be there to train some of the younger ones, maybe.
It makes sense. You can't see him leaving wrestling fully.
No.
When you're 54 years of age and you're still wrestling this regularly, you've obviously still got a passion for it.
Yes. I think, that's fair enough. Apparently also, he's the only wrestler to have been ranked on each of the PWI 500 since the first list in 1991.
That's incredible, isn't it?
That just says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, fair enough. Great guy. Can't wait to see who. That's a really intriguing one. Can't wait to see who he retires against.
Let us know who you think it would be.
Comment section down below. Next up, Jim Ross announced on his podcast, The Ross Report, that his contract with WWE is ending at the end of March 29th, I believe, which is before WrestleMania, which I'm surprised about. Because I thought they'd do the thing where they bring him out for one big match, probably the Triple H Batista one or something like that.
Yeah.
But instead, no, his contract's up then. And he seems pretty confident that he's not going to be out of the game for too long.
No, he said that he's looking forward to proving himself. He thinks he can still go as far as play-by-play announcing goes. And, there's one obvious promotion to talk about here, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right.
Would you want to see Jim Ross head up play-by-play in All Elite?
I thought you were going to say 5-star wrestling. Honestly, no.
Okay.
I think that there's younger commentators out there who have more of a grasp on modern wrestling and modern people in wrestling. But at the same time, it's pros and cons with JR. Maybe he slipped a little bit in his age, but at the same time, nobody brings the same level of passion when he's on his game
as
Jim Ross. So it's not a definite yes for me or a definite no, but I think that maybe I'd prefer to see a newer person. But don't get me wrong, if they got Jim Ross, it would be a huge attention-grabbing thing as well. So.
Yeah, his performances, I think it's fair to say, over the last few years have been mixed.
Yes.
He's been very good and he's been not so good. I would quite like to see it. I think he brings sort of an air of legitimacy,
yeah.
get my words out, to anything that he's a part of. And just by having Jim Ross, it makes it feel bigger.
It does.
Just because of nostalgia, I guess, majorly. But the wrestling fans who are probably interested in All Elite are very familiar with the Attitude Era and all the stuff that Jim Ross is famous for. I'd personally really like to see it.
Fair enough. Well, he didn't mention All Elite Wrestling himself.
No, that's true.
But it is the sort of, as you say, the obvious place where, at the minute, when anyone leaves anywhere, everyone's saying, are they going to end up in All Elite Wrestling? What's going to happen next? But in this instance, I don't know. Well, at first when I read this story, I thought, oh, they're going to have him in a backstage role. They're going to have him doing similar to what he did in WWE. But he seems to imply here that he's going to still be, he's not fallen off the commentary game.
No, absolutely. So I'm 67 and I still feel I can get the job done doing wrestling play-by-play, and I want to explore that opportunity and possibility. So, I mean, the other role that he undertook with WWE was head of talent relations.
Yes.
But you've got Chris Daniels doing that.
Chris Daniels, yeah.
In All Elite. So it does seem like he is hinting at more play-by-play, which would be interesting to see.
It would be. It's just gonna be straight. Like whenever even he was commentating on New Japan or at WCPW when we were there, it was always a bit strange, wasn't it? It's a bit surreal hearing Jim Ross outside of WWE.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because he's so tied to the atmosphere of that promotion over the decade.
Also, he's a tremendous businessman, and I think All Elite would probably be a very exciting prospect for him.
Right, that's very true as well. Well, we'll see if he reveals anything else, but as of now, his contract does expire on March 29th. So best of luck to Jim in all of his future endeavours. Can I say that?
You're definitely qualified to say that, Jake.
Next up, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, Shawn Michaels revealed a pretty interesting detail about his WrestleMania 26 match with The Undertaker, the match that retired him until last year when it didn't retire. Let's just ignore that for now. Basically, he said in this interview with Sports Illustrated that there was an out clause, as he called it, for the storyline, which meant that he could return for one more match if he changed his mind, or return to the ring if he changed his mind and he didn't actually want to retire. In Shawn's words, he said, "I don't know that I ever completely decided that it was going to be it for my career until after the match was over," which surprised me because it was career versus streak. It was very much the terms of the match. We had always sort of discussed an out clause, so to speak, if I had the desire to do it again. But I can remember, which happens in wrestling all the time, people lose retirement matches and come back. But I can remember myself and Taker and Michael Hayes just sitting there after the match, like we had done the year before, just the three of us, sort of sitting there alone, taking it in. And I said, you know something, guys, I feel good with that. And that's fair. It was a very, very good match.
Exactly.
Perfect retirement.
Yeah, in that period of time, how could you improve upon that match?
No.
Obviously, he would come back last year. And that happened, and that's a thing. But yeah, I just think that's an interesting detail. If he was creatively unsatisfied with the match, he could just say, "Hey, we're gonna do it again." As you say, we've seen it countless times with retirement matches and people coming back. Hello, Terry Funk. But yeah, no, it's an interesting detail to the contract.
I think it's an interesting contrast as well with what happened last year, where it seemed as though his match in Saudi Arabia with Triple H against Kane and Undertaker was going to set up a future match again, like a big blow off between maybe Shawn and Taker again at WrestleMania, and then it just didn't. And I think maybe it was the plan. This is just speculation, but maybe it was the plan, and then Shawn was like, you know what, I don't think it's right.
It always seemed like it was going to be. That's what people were largely talking about online. I believe Meltzer said that was the plan originally. But at the end, you remember when Triple H was there with their arms around each other? We're too old for this.
Too old for this. Triple H. Well, Michaels is all good-natured about it. Triple H is going, I'm really in pain right now, Shawn. This is no time for joking around.
Do you think we'll see him wrestle anymore in the WWE? 2 Saudi dates have
That's what I was
been
just
reported
thinking.
as confirmed.
No.
I think we will.
Do you think we will this year? That's sweet money. I guess when it's on the table, it's a whole different story, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't blame a guy for that. He must have been paid 7 figures to do something.
Oh yeah.
And although some fans feel like it's ruined his legacy, when you're talking about that sum of money, like
I can't wrestle at all, and I would do it for a fraction of that. I was like,
I thought you were going to say a fiver then. I don't know if Saudi Arabia would want to see Jack the Jobber versus.
No, they wouldn't. But I'd do it for that amount. Obviously,
wow.
I'd get in the ring and nearly die.
That's a verbal contract, so book him, Vince.
Cheers. And finally, some bonus news here. It's not news yet, but it is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern today, which I think is 4 p.m. British time. Googled it before, and I'm pretty sure that's what it said. WWE basically on Twitter announced that they're set to do a very special announcement, and the location of this is what's tickled my interest. Tampa, Florida, which I think recently I've seen speculated as the rumoured location for next year's WrestleMania. Ooh.
Makes sense. It might not be. The fact that they've announced where it's from absolutely hints at a future pay-per-view being held there, and I think WrestleMania is probably the sensible choice. It could be something else. It could be that WrestleMania is going to be a week-long show. It could be that they've re-signed who's available right now, Cody Rhodes.
I
Biggest coup.
I honestly don't think, though, that it's going to be too long before we see a 2-day WrestleMania.
No, I agree.
Do you agree?
I mean, it's already billed as like a week-long show.
Yeah.
It's not.
I reckon it's going to be a 2-day event. New Japan have expanded their Wrestle Kingdom Tokyo Dome dates to 2 days for next year, where Liger will be retiring and Sam will be sad. But yeah, I just think it's not going to be too long at all, because it's just getting silly now, isn't it?
It is. It's a very, very long card. Why not split it over 2 days?
It'll be like a festival.
Have 7 hours a day. It'll be just like a festival. I look forward to seeing the Wombats playing at WrestleMania.
The Wombats were fantastic live. I've seen them before.
Okay.
Now they were really good. Now back to WWE from the Wombats. Where would you like to see? I mean, obviously
London, England, obviously.
Yeah, Newcastle, England.
Yeah, it'd be handy.
I don't really know anything about Tampa. I know that they like going down to Florida quite a lot for WrestleMania in the past few years, or states around there like New Orleans, Texas. There's like the southern states for some reason. I guess they've got the big football stadiums and stuff. Yeah. And the weather.
To me, it's like, I don't want to say all the states are much the same, because obviously they're so different. But hey, we're in Britain, it's in America. I'd quite like to see a Canadian WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
You?
I'm trying to think of an obscure town there to be funny, but I couldn't think of one. Somewhere in Idaho. There we go.
See ya.
Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter @Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.